everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today, just a little chat. I realized, I was talking to Roy the other day, and we were talking about the use of AI for art specifically. And I realized I have not chimed in on this platform about my thoughts about AI for art. And why not, right? So let's talk a little bit about AI and artificial intelligence. So I think by now most of us are familiar in general with the concept of AI. You know, smart computers, they're learning. When AI started to take off, my initial reaction was I saw Terminator, Skynet. Hello, Skynet. That did not end well. No. That was my knee-jerk reaction. And I sat with it and I processed, and there's a lot of different opinions. But we all, at this point, know how I feel about art and my passion and appreciation and love of art and artists. And AI is sort of encroaching on that. So there's two sort of schools of thought out there. There's one school of thought, which is that, you know, the people who are creating the AI art are creating art via a different medium, right? AI being the medium and the prompts that they are entering being the paintbrush, I guess would be the analogy. But the other school of thought is that AI is just sort of like taking a lot of like existing art that artists made and sort of like taking them and sometimes without permission and sort of making something new out of something existing. Well, there are a lot of good points to be made on both sides of this argument, right? Like, you're taking something existing and making it something new. And therefore, the something new is not what the original was. It's a brand new thing created by the prompts that the person put in to make the AI do the thing, right? So it's sort of like they're creating something new from something existing. Think about something like a found footage exercise or, like maybe like a collage, right? Where you're making a sculpture, but you cover it like Mod Podge style with like magazines or something like that, right? Where you didn't create the original stuff, but you put it together in a way that is new and unique, right? So that is one argument. I have a different take on this. The analogy that I would use is, let's say, like, I love going to like Comic-Con and comic conventions, right? So I'm going to use this as my analogy for this. Let's say you go to a Comic-Con and you have an artist you adore, right? And you want them to do a custom art piece for you. But you have something specific in mind of what you want them to draw. And you give them the frame of reference, whether it's the description, a picture, some form of guidance, i.e. the parallel to the prompts for AI, right? And then the artist creates their art for you, right? They are the ones that did it. Now, the difference between, in my mind, just my opinion, the difference between the artist doing that and AI doing that is self-expression. Art is self-expression. In my opinion, every time a piece of art is created, a part of the artist is being put into that. And at this point in time, AI is not sentient. AI is not self-expressing. And the computer is not able to emote into the art. So the parallel would be the artist is putting part of themselves into the artwork, where the AI cannot do that. The person commissioning the piece of art would be the parallel to the person that is entering the AI prompts. So I don't know if that is clear, right? Like, so if we're using this parallel, it's like you have the person who wants a piece of art and you have a person who wants a piece of art. One tells an artist what they want the art to be. One tells a computer what they want the art to be. Now here's the big difference. Is the artist over here that is physically drawing the picture, for argument's sake, more or less than the computer that, I don't know why I said it like that, than the computer that is, getting this compilation of things to create the art? The difference is, in this scenario, right, let's look at two rows, the back row and the front row. The back row is the people with the idea for the art. The front row is the people create, or the computer in either option, creating the art. So in the back row, the AI prompt enterer is considering themselves the artist. In the other scenario, the idea enterer is not considering themselves the artist. They are getting a piece of commissioned art from the artist. So it's sort of like, where do you consider the art to be? But for me, the root of this is self-expression. To me, that is the crux of what makes artwork art. And that's self-expression. Because if you go to museums, like, there is all forms of things that can be considered art. As far as I'm concerned, anything can be considered art if there is something emotive about it. If someone is putting a piece of themselves into it, it can be considered art. Like, Roy reminded me of the time that there was an art museum and someone had a piece of art where it was a banana taped to the wall. And that was in a museum. But there's something emotive about it in some way that struck somebody, and they put it out there. And that, to me, is what sort of makes art and why it is valuable to me. So I even went to look at the definition of art, because I got a little curious, right? So here is the definition from the Oxford English Dictionary. And it is the expression or application of creative skill and imagination, typically in visual form, such as painting, drawing, or sculpture, producing works. There are other definitions too, but that I felt was the most sort of poignant to this conversation. Then I also, just out of curiosity, also went to Miriam Webster Dictionary. And these are the definitions of art according to Miriam Webster. A skill acquired by experience, study, or observation. Or, definition 2, a branch of learning. The example being like the humanities, like liberal arts. Then there's an occupation requiring knowledge or skill. Definition 4 is the conscious use of skill and creative imagination, especially in the production of aesthetic objects. All of these imply emoting into it. Human experience being put forth, learning and creating, the conscious use of skill, not just the use of skill, the conscious use. And if AI is not conscious, it's not sentient. When we get to a point where we have sentient, robotics or technology, that's going to be a whole separate conversation, because I as a Star Trek fan have totally different thought processes about once sentience is incorporated into this conversation. But if we are strictly talking about non-sentient artificial intelligence, Is it art? Or is it a computer program? Personally, my hot take, it's artistic, but it's not art. There's no self-expression. There's no emoting. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. And other people might feel differently, and that's okay to have different opinions on this. But that is my hot take, if you will, on AI right now. Figured I would give voice, since I'm always giving voice to art and artists, that I stand with the art and the artists. That is where I sit on this hot button issue these days. So yeah, that welcome to my TED Talk. That's where I'm at. But I guess with that, I'm done for the day. I'll see y'all real soon. And until then, stay inspired by, keep creating that art. Take care.